grips with the car very quickly. Pace car on the infield. Heat 1, green flag in the air. Marshall to lead them through. Peter Drew on his outside. He will push him all the way. Aylett on the second row. Pretty raggedy start. One spinning out already. Tasmania's Peter Aylett as the orange light comes on. Small foam block, you'll note, rolling down the track. It comes out of the inside of the outside rear, just keeps the mud from building up in it. Come out of car 7. Okay, orange lights out. Let's see how we go this time. Track a little still on the slick side. Gabby Marshall brings him around. Drew on his outside. Better start that time. Ron Pine looking for a way through. Bit of pushing and shoving through turn 2. Peter Drew coming out the worst of that. Gets pushed back pretty well the full length of the field. Meanwhile, Marshall setting off in his merry way out in the lead. Then we go back to Dave Gartner. 10 car filling in third spot. Tasmania 10, Kimball Aylett. Pack starting to get themselves sorted out. Peter Drew trying to make up some of that lost ground. Peter Lowe just quietly working his way through the field. Started off the rear. Marshall got the car set up quite soft there. Trailing the inside left. Getting plenty of weight down over on the outside rear. Gardner not letting him get too far away. Still 8 laps on the board. 10 car of Kimball Aylett now right under pressure by Ron Pine. Ron Pine probably one of the dark horses here for the weekend. Sitting in 4th now, right over the back of Aylett. Then we go back to Bert Vosbergen from Western Australia. Then to the 88 car of Son Craig. 82 tailed in there. 82 car of Kingsley Jones. Peter Lowe coming up on Jones now. Drew also working hard down the back of the pack. Car in a little bit of strife there, gets himself sorted out, has cost him a position. So at the moment we've got Marshall from Gartner, then we go to Ron Pine, then to Bert Vosbergen. Peter Lowe now up into 5th spot. Felt his way through the pack. Then we go back to Aylett. Then Jones, Kingsley Jones, coming up now onto the back of Aylett. Also going with him is Drew. Aylett is going to hold the pack up slightly here. Drew pushes his way through. Marshall now right in the pack, but I tell you what, Gartner's made the most of this, move right up onto the back of Marshall. White flag about to go out. 1 lap to go now. Interesting here. Marshall stuck out in traffic there. Still holding on to the lead. Gartner looking for a way through also. Looks as though he'll have to be content to sit in there in second. Just coming up and passing Craig Vosbergen into lap traffic. Checkered flag goes out for Heat 1. Heat 1 win to Gabby Marshall from Queensland. Second place will go to Dave Gartner. Then we go back to Ron Pine in the 7 car for 3rd. Just wait for the official placings between 4th and 5th. So it could have been car 4 Bert Vosbergen in 4th from Peter Logue in 5th. Australian Super Sedan title about to get underway. Pace car goes to the infield. Greg Wilkins off pole. Gary Bryan's on his outside. Wayne Randall, Sean Kelly, row 2. Tony Bartlemore, Michael Biskorski in row 3. White Lane goes down. Good start there to Bryans. Gets away quite nicely from the back row there also. Barklemore gets through up into second. Also 21 doing well there is Girdlestone. Smoke billing from the back of the 85 car there. Perhaps only a tyre problem. It might look a bit more than a tyre problem, I would suggest. Meanwhile, 26 still out in front from Victoria Bryans. Trying hard to run him down. 23 McHugh. McHugh working hard now on Bryans. And we go back to 33 of Barklemore. I'll tell you what, the 85 car still performing, but putting out quite a lot of smoke there. Action still up the front with 8 laps to go. 26 car, Gary Bryans, still under a lot of pressure there from McHugh. McHugh comes at him down the back straight into turn 3, thinks about putting the nose in. Barklemore sticking right with him. Also coming up there is the 21 car of Girdlestone from Queensland. Second run out in this car, brand new car. Come through again, these front few tightening right up now. Still McHugh. McHugh gets a bit of a break there. Looks as though 26 car of Bryans might have got balked slightly. Barklemore still can't get past him. Girdlestone working hard. Then McEachran back there in about 6th or 7th spot. Just not been able to do too much at this stage. Three laps left on the board. McHugh gets a little bit of a buffer now. Back to Bryans. Bryans under all sorts of pressure now from Barklemore. Also sitting there is Girdlestone. Girdlestone, Wayne Randall also in there, now making a late run. Steve Vaughan looking for a way through. Can't seem to do too much. Nagorski well back down the field in the 17 car. 2 on the infield spinning out. That's Gavin McEachran and the 76 car. So checkered flag goes out. Win going to the 23 of Jamie McHugh. Following over would be just managing to hold on to a second was Gary Bryans. Go back to 33, Tony Barklemore. Then Nick Girdlestone and Steve Vaughan. Okay, heat 3 about to get underway. Higgs to lead them away. Bill Miller to keep him honest, alongside out of 2. 15 car of Flay there out of 3. Get away pretty evenly, a good clean start. Let's see if they all get through turn 1 and 2. A little bit of paint mixing, they're not too bad. Miller pushes hard into turn 3. Leading Higgs through for the first time. Higgs working hard, not letting him get too far away. Flay up in second. Then we go to the 74 car of Murphy. Smurf Murphy certainly knows the way around here. Puts his nose up alongside Flay down the back straight. Then we go back to the 47 car of Stewart. Stewart, of course, running here in the Tri-City. Then Cottrell. Miller and Higgs fighting it out pretty well. Haven't got so much as a car length between them since they started this race. Pretty well side by side. I tell you what, Higgs not giving an inch on Miller, trying everything to get in. Waiting for Miller to make a mistake, but he's certainly not going to make it. Got a good mid-line there. Then we go back to Murphy, right in alongside the 15 car of Brian Flay, all the way from the Northern Territory. 84 car of Graham Nugent, a little bit of strife down on the back of the field. About to get a lap put on him. Miller still managing to hold out Higgs, but only just. Not a car length in, there's 2. Similar for the battle for 3rd and 4th. Murphy now moving up into 3rd position. relegating Frey back to 4th. Then we go back to Steve Stewart, Kim Cottrell. 42 car of Graham Cowland, a little bit out, got away from the pack. A little bit of hunt and shunt as Murphy trying to get through on Nugent. Doesn't lose his position, did lose quite a bit of ground in the meantime. 5 laps left on the board now. Miller and Higgs, 1-2. Having a great race out in front. Then we go well back down to the Smurf. Murphy in the 74 car in 3rd, then Clay. Then the 74 car of Stewart, then Kim Cottrell. Well back to Graham Cowland. Once again now we've got our front 2 runners, Higgs and Miller, starting to get into the lap traffic once again. Higgs does not get a very good run through there at all. This has let Miller get a good 30-odd metre break. Higgs starting to try and come back at him. White flag goes out in the meantime. Murphy also making his way through that slower traffic. Then we go back to Clay, Steve Stewart and Kim Cottrell. As they come through now, checkered flag goes out to the 77 car of Bill Miller, taking out heat 3. Flying over will be the 81 car from Western Australia of Gary Higgs. Followed over by 74 car of Murphy. Then we go back to Flay in the 15 from Steve Stewart and Kim Cottrell. And the pace right on there. Race record time 2:58.11, bringing it down from a 2:58.78. So already heat 3, they are right into the times. Stu, if that's any indication, I think. Coming around the green flag, Steve Reddycliffe, Ken Pearce off the front row. Pedals to the metal. Good start there from Stephen Dale off the second row, round the outside. That unique roar of the V6 in amongst the V8s, out in front. Then go back to Steve Reddycliffe, battling it out is Ken Pearce in the little rotary. 61 of Des Corn, working his way nicely up through the field, starting well down towards the back, already up into 3rd. Then we go back to Tony Grinstead, and spinning as I say that. Takes talent to spin in the middle of a field like that and not put any dents in anything. Okay, Dale to lead them through this time. Reddycliffe tucked in behind, and then we go back to Pearce. Pearce quickly shoots down onto the infield, but Dale on his merry way out in front. The 78 car of Grinstead looking for a way around the outside of Reddycliffe. Gets through in turn 3, moves up into 2nd. Reddycliffe now relegated back to 3rd. Starting to make his way up through is Alan Baker. Baker now right on the back of Reddycliffe, slips down to try and run up the inside down the back straight to take over 3rd. Can't do so. Spinning down there, Ken Pearce in the little rotary. Everyone does a little bit of a dance around him to avoid, of which they do. This will bring on the orange light. Off now, so we'll come around for a restart. Stephen Dale bring the round very slowly. Confident of the way his car gets off the line. Nice and cleanly, brings him around this car, the pace that suits his car. Stomps on the gas, back to work once again. Dale gets a little bit out of shape through turn 1-2. Grinstead tries to make the most of it. Baker has Stewart picked it there on the restart, now up into 3rd after passing Reddycliffe. Darren Kane working hard there on the back of Reddycliffe now. Stephen Dale. Got a mid to high line now. Grinstead tucked right in behind the little V6. Baker sitting back there in third. And we go back to Redcliffe. And Kane swaps lines down onto the pole line now. Trying to find a way through Redcliffe as they come across the line now with 4 to go. Weaver also up there in that midfield action. Stephen Dale still managing to hold off Grinstead. V6 up against V8. Baker now right under pressure from Kane. Kane slipping up into second now. Baker relegated back to fourth on the back straight. Weaver still there in fifth. Then back to Redcliffe. Coming through now to get the white flag. Stephen Dale now, 1 lap just to go to hold out Grinstead for maximum points in heat 3. Down the back straight now. Turns it through turn 4, checkered flag in the air. Car 32 taking out heat 3, Stephen Dale. 78, Tony Grinstead taking second points. Darren Kane finishing in third from Baker.
Well, Stephen Dale, welcome to Mount Gambier, to the Borderline Speedway, here to contest the 1998-99 Australian Super Sedan title. And when we talk Super Sedans, we usually expect to see big Chevs and Falcons, a few different cars like that. And then you turn up with a Nissan. Now, tell me, this is a little bit different. You tell me that it's a one-of-a-kind car.
Yes, that's correct. It's the only V6 running in Australia at this stage that I know of. We've campaigned this car now for, this is its third season. It's been very difficult in the development of the car, but we have a new crew chief this year that's in Paul Zemenick from Mud and Guts Enterprising, and he's really made the car start performing now. So we're quite pleased with it, and by the end of the night I think we might turn a few heads, and that's what we're here for.
Well, I think you were definitely turning a few heads at practice last night, in fact, and looked like you were having a little bit of problem. The car being very, very light, you were having trouble just keeping it on the track.
Yes, that's correct. We did lift a couple of wheels there once or twice. We've made a couple of changes with the car towards the later practice sessions, which didn't go in our favour. So we've put it back, and we're going to just hope that running on 3 or 2 wheels will be fast enough at the end of the night. So it could be quite thrilling, I think.
Yeah, well, it looks like it's going to be very interesting. I've noticed that a lot of drivers have come up and had a very good look at this car. I think that you're a little bit of a threat there for the title, Steve. But who would you consider to be your biggest adversary out there?
Well, I'd say there's probably about 10 people that can win here on the night. It's really not necessarily the fastest or the best looking car. It's really the one that's either got his St. Christopher on, or has got the luck on the night, or manages to keep out of trouble. If the cards fall for you, you can win, and that might be all you do for the rest of the year. So it's a hard one, but there's a good 10 maybe 15 drivers here that you couldn't put any money on either one of them, you know, to individually to win. It's a very hard. National titles is about the 6th one I've been to, and it's very, very hard to pick a winner at the beginning of the night.
Well, good luck for the weekend. I hope you enjoy it all.
Thank you very much.
See how we go this time. Lionel West will get the green flag. Lead heat 5 away. Tony Rinstein on his outside. Nicola already looking for a way through, up into third. Back to Roberts in fourth. Then John Rodder. Orange light comes on. Put rear of field for jumping the start. 54, Lucas Roberts will lead them this time. Green flag goes down. Good start, better start from Reinstein. Nicola looking for a way around the outside, rides a wheel, very lucky not to get into the fence. costing dearly in possessions. So as they come through the first time, we have Terry Ronstein from Roberts, then the 46 car of John Rodder. Moving up now into fourth, about to be overtaken, is Noel Ronstein. Nicola on fire, around the outside there, right on the tail of Rodder now. Making up for that lost time, already up into fourth spot. Noel Rinstein back in behind him in the Corvette. And we go back to 27, tucked in beyond Andrew Keane. Nicola now comes up along the 54 car of Roberts, moves up into second. Roberts shunted out, almost gets passed by 46 John Rodder. Regains his composure now, managing to hold on to third. Nicola now out after our race leader, the 75 car, Terry Reinstein. Moves up on the inside now, looks as though he's going to make pretty easy work of it. 7 laps left on the board, got plenty of time. Nicola, the defending champion. Knows he's got the time, picks a good spot to get past. Big battle going on back for the minor places. Still Roberts from Rodder. Noel Reinstein tucked right in there, looking for a way through. Also trying for a good run. Also John Brown in the 66 car. Nicola now just sitting back there behind Terry Reinstein. 4 laps left on the board. Reinstein covering himself quite well, but down the back straight. Nicola now up the inside, tucks it in hard. Reinstein trying to come back, and Nicola gets past nicely. Terry Reinstein relegated back to second, holding out for third. There's the battle now between the Roberts. Then we go back to Rodder. John Brown working well up through the field in the 66 car. Then we go back to Noel Reinstein. Andrew Keane. Only a couple of laps to go now. Nicola breaks right away now. Some 30 or 40 metres break. We'll do it easy. 1 lap left to go now on the board. Terry Reinstein, only second position. Battle going on for the minor places. Each position gaining points. Nicola going through now, defending champion, winning his first heat for the evening, heat 5. Coming across in second, Terry Reinstein. Third, I think, going to John Brown from Roberts and John Rodder. And in a hurry, Stuart?
Certainly was, Paul. Have a look at the time clock up there, ladies and gentlemen. 2 minutes 55.82. He's just smashed that record by 3 seconds. The thing I can't believe, he went back to third last there when he had that altercation down there in turn 1-2. So he was back to 7th. He's come back up, taken out that heat win round, or heat 5 for his first round of heats. So that's certainly a great drive by Mick Nicola.
Certainly was. And also perhaps Cottrell and Vaughan off the front row. Roberts and Bogorski off row 2. Cottrell leads him away fairly quickly. Just managed to hold out by Steve Vaughan works him hard down the back straight. Steve Vaughan will lead them down the back straight. Then back to Cottrell, Bogorski. 54 car of Roberts in 4th position. Then to Neville Harper. Harper now getting the pressure applied by Kevin Purton. 84 car relegated back down. That's Nugent not having a good run at all tonight. Steve Vaughan clearing away now. Comes through to complete another lap. 10 more to go. Cottrell in second, then back to Nugent. Bogorski in the immaculate 17 car from Tasmania. Then to Lucas Roberts. Neville Harper now. Then we'll go back to Kevin Purton. Purton right on Harper. 7 laps left on the board. 81, sorry, out in front. I'm getting mixed up here. That's Higgs in the Firebird. Drawing right away. Makes up more ground as the race goes on. Cottrell having no answer for him. Cottrell's got his own battle going on with Bogorski. Bogorski's certainly done some homework on the car in between his heats. Sitting there in third now, but Lucas Roberts coming right up onto the tail of him. Followed through by Harper and the 25 car of Kevin Burton. Gary Hicks now almost well over the length of the back straight lead on the rest of the field. Gets the car set up very nicely as he goes across the line with some 3 laps to go. Still back to Jim Cottrell from South Australia, to Bogorski, Tasmanian entry. Lucas Roberts in 4 from Harper. Then to Kevin Purton. Right down the back of the field is Nugent. Higgs, I think, with a second place in his first round of heats. Looking for the checkered flag this time. Cottrell still sitting in second, having no hope at all of catching our leader by a mishap as our leader goes through to get the white flag. 1 lap to go. Cottrell now sitting in second, as I mentioned. All he's got to do is the checkered flag goes out. So the race win. Yes, mate. Okay. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, look at the race time for 12 laps. Down once again, so we're down to about some 6 odd seconds off the before tonight's race record. So right on the pace there was Hicks. We're going to try and pull him in for an interview if we can. Stewie's down on the infield.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Just as we'll get Gary just to cut the motor. And that was a great drive by Gary Dusty Hicks from Western Australia. Gary, just to let you know, you've just knocked off 3 seconds off the track record here tonight. You have to be happy with the way the car's going.
Yeah, the car's, she's totally awesome. She likes this track. And yeah, we're very happy. She's sounding beautiful.
And the track's in great condition at the moment.
The track's really good. You've got to go up the top a bit and chase it, but I don't mind getting up there.
Well, we'll show you the best in the next heat, and hopefully we'll see you out here tomorrow night and you're contending for the Australian title. Thank you very much.
Peter Lowe, Jamie McHugh out of 2, Brown out of 3, Wilkins out of 4, McCall of 5, Drew out of 6. Medals to the medal. Lowe gives McHugh a little bit of a nudge for his trouble through turn 2. 66 car starting well there of John Brown. We're up there vying as we've got Drew spinning out in car 8. This will bring on the orange light. Restart required. Peter Drew not having the best of nights. Spinning down there in turn 4. Green flag in the air. Heat 2, round 2 about to get underway this time after the restart. Logue McHugh side by side through turn 1, but Peter Logue gets the better down the back straight now. McHugh relegated back to second. Then we go to John Brown in car 66, then to Dave Gardner, Peter Drew, Murphy, McAuliffe, Vosbergen, 42 of Cowland down the tail end of the field. Peter Logue now completes the first lap, settling down to a very nice line. McHugh still sitting in second, then back to Brown. Dave Gardner in 4th. Peter Drew recovering after that spin, causing the restart. Tucked in behind him, Smurf Murphy. Mick Nicola now trying to find a way through on Murphy. Can't do so. Pretty well a blanket of cars in front of him. Logue leads them down the back straight now. About to come through with 7 to go. Vosberg in a little bit of trouble over in turn 2. Recovers. Logue, McHugh, Brown. Dave Gartner still holding on to 4th. Then go back to Peter Drew, Murphy and Nicola. Nicola in all sorts of bother trying to get through some of this midfield traffic. Pushing hard on the back of Murphy. Murphy doing likewise to Drew. Dave Gartner now, car set up fairly loose. Sitting in 4th position. Having a torrid time trying to hold it on line. Peter Logue now about to come up and put a lap on Cowan. 4 laps on the board. McHugh now getting the pressure put right on by Brown. McHugh slips up just a little bit over the push through turn 4. Brown made up a little bit of ground on him. Logue puts a lap on Cowan. McHugh still holding on to 2nd, then back to Brown. Dave Gardner still holding on 4th, then we go back to Drew as the white flag goes out. Murphy and Nicole are still having that battle down for the minor points. Checkered flag about to come out now for Peter Logue. Takes white flag, sorry, 1 lap left to go. Vosbergen gets a lap put on him on the final lap by Logue. Logue, McHugh, Brown right on McHugh's tail. There's a checkered flag to Logue. 2nd place will go to the 23 car of Jamie McHugh. Great race there, just managing to hold out Brown. Then we go back to David Gartner picking up 4th place points from Peter Drew, Murphy and Nicola. Just cross there, we can get a quick talk to Peter Drew on the infield. Crossing over to you, Stu.
Got Peter Logue down here, Peter. You've just broken 5 seconds off the lap record out here tonight, off the 12 lap record. You're here to do business this weekend.
Yeah, the car felt real good then. We got a little bit loose in the end, but we just held it together long enough to finish.
Well, let you go, and you are here to do business this weekend, and we wish you all the best.
Just interviewing Peter Logue. Peter, it's the beginning of the 98-99 Super Sedan titles. Car looking pretty good at practice last night. How's the track feeling?
Look, this is the best the track's ever been in about 5 years, so we're really expecting things to go really good this weekend.
Well, that's a good confidence start. If you're happy with the track, that's a really good thing to achieve. Obviously, there's a lot of talented drivers down here this weekend. Who would you consider to be your greatest rivals?
Well, of course, our number one now, Mick Nicola, he's got to be the man to beat. There's Jamie McHugh going fast last night, and there's quite a few others that's capable of winning this race.
Now, there's quite a few past champions here this weekend as well. That's got to make life just a little bit interesting out there.
They tell me there's about 6 of them.
And you being one of them, of course?
Yeah, we have been. The year before last, we won it.
Well, hopefully the car will be running nice and well for you, but a lot of luck required out there. Most of the heats looking like they're going to be pretty tight.
You can do whatever you like in the heat races and come to getting towards the end of the feature, but if you haven't got a little bit of lady luck on your side, you're not going to win.
So what's going to be your plan of attack here for tonight? Just go out and go hard?
Just go flat out all weekend.
Well, good luck, and I hope it works out for you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for that.
We have Craig Vosbergen to lead them away. There's Corn on his outside. Terry Rickstein up into 3rd now. Oh, we've got a carry. Well, ladies and gentlemen, holy stacking cars, Batman.
I really didn't think he was going to end up going over, Paul. I thought he was just going to sit there, and then he said, no, what the hell, we'll just roll it over.
Craig Vosbergen, very unfortunate there. Des Corn just got in underneath the back of Vosbergen and carried him. And you can see the result of all that.
Upside down, Miss Jane.
That's about the one. Des Corn not having a very good night at all. Of course, blew a tyre in his first heat after spinning. I would suggest there wouldn't be a lot of damage done to the car. Grinstead in the 78, also on the infield. 41, Lionel West.
Sorry?
Track at the moment. A depleted field as they come around. 12 laps back on the board, 75. Tony Rickstein will lead them from the 11 car of Steve Reddycliffe. Reddycliffe works around the outside. Also going there is John Rodder in the 46. Rodder working hard around the outside. 34 also pushing hard, Paul Tyndall. Tyndall sitting there in fourth position. Steve Reddycliffe now leads them through for another lap in the Camaro. John Rodder trying to go up the inside through turn 2. Then we go back to Rickstein. Rickstein then to Tyndall. Then Keane. Rodder now up the inside of Reddycliffe. Takes over the lead now. Track conditions starting to change somewhat, starting to get fairly hooky by the look of it out there. Reddycliffe still in second. Rickstein starting to put the pressure on. Also right up there in the running there, right up on these leaders is Tyndall in the green 34 car. Keane still back down the tail of the field. Rodder now breaking away from the field somewhat. Reddycliffe and Rickstein battling it out for the minor places, second and third. Paul Tyndall starting to get the feel of the track, comes up right on the back of Rickstein. Rodder still fairly comfortable out in front. Rodder in the 98 Falcon. Reddycliffe in the Camaro still in second. Rickstein and all sorts of bother there in the 75 car. Got Tyndall working overtime down behind him. Now also coming up and wanting to get into it is Keane. Keane starting to get the feel of the track. Rodder now down the back straight, some 2.5 laps to go. Reddycliffe still holding on to second. And we go back to Rickstein, Tyndall and Keane. I tell you what, for second and third place it could be anybody's. They're pretty well packed right together. Rodder looking comfortable, gets the white flag with 1 lap to go. The battle on for young and old for the other places though. Reddycliffe now just holding on to second. Rickstein up underneath him, all bit up and down the back. They touch and battles are plenty down the back straight once again. Rickstein and Reddycliffe coming together there. Tyndall with nowhere to go. Likewise to the 27 car of Andrew Keane. Paul Tyndall's car there on the infield. There's substantial front end damage.
Yeah, thanks, Paul.
Heat, car 5. Robert Burke leads them through for the first time. Quickly overhauled by Ron Pine. Bill Miller sitting up there also. 26 car of Gary Bryans working hard. Also the 76 of Wayne Randall. Miller getting overtaken, now relegated back to 5th spot. Ron Pine, one of the quiet favourites perhaps here tonight, out in the lead. Then to the 5 car of Burke, started off pole but battling it now for second. Oh, touch and go down there for the mighty ones. 36 and all sorts of bother there down the back straight. 26, sorry, that's Gary Bryans. Miller takes the advantage, moves up another position. Ron Pine sits right up on the cush there, perhaps looking for a little bit of loose material. Burke still in second, 76 car. Wayne Randall in third position, Miller in 4. Gavin McEachran in their midfield in 5th after passing 26 car Bryans. Then go back to Steve Stewart. Debbie Reddycliffe also there, but down the tail end of the field now. Hines, I'll tell you what, he has got the car set up spot on out there at the moment, handling like a dream. 5 laps to go now. 5 car of Robert Burke gets a little bit out of shape there, coming out of turn 4. Lets the 76 car get up past him there. Wayne Randall now moves up into second. Gary Bryans in all sorts of bother once again out of 2. Hasn't got the car handling well at all. Action up in front now. Gavin McEachran getting plenty of power to the ground now. Moves up past Burke. Comes up on Miller. Trying to find a way around. 3 laps left on the board. Ron Pine with an easy looking win at the moment. Heads down the back straight. Miller, McEachran fight it out. Miller and McEachran still side by side with just over 2 laps to go. The 76 car of Wayne Randall still holding on to second. McEachran right on Miller's tail down the back straight. Looks for a high line around Miller. Power down he goes. Slides out, doesn't do any good. White flag out in the air. Last lap for our leader now. Pine puts a lap on Debbie Reddycliffe. Checkered flag comes out now. Win to Ron Pine, maximum points. Second will go to the 76 car of Wayne Randall. Bill Miller in South Australia 77 will hold on to third from 79 car of also from South Australia, Gavin McEachran. Then we go back to Robert Burke, 26 car of Gary Bryans, Stewart, and the 9 car of Peter Aylett. Orange light out. Let's see how we go this time. Front row, Darren Kane, Scott Weddle to lead them away. Heat 5, round 2 underway now. Good start from Stephen Dale, works his way pretty quickly up into 4th spot. Car 2, Marshall, also getting a good start now up into 3rd. Kane leading them through for the first time. From the 57 car of Scott Whittle. Scott Whittle working overtime on the steering wheel. Not handling at all at the moment. Marshall making the most of it, trying to slide up on the inside, sets it down on the pole line. Still sitting in 3rd. Then we go back to the 82 car of Kingsley Jones in 4th. Then to Stephen Dale, Alan Baker, Ken Pearce. And I think it's the 15 car of Flay, sorry, the 18 car of Noel Rickstein. Backfalling, having a fun fight down the back. Kane out in front at the moment. 57 runs out wide there. Scott Whittle loses position. Marshall comes up into 2nd now. Whittle tries to fight back. He's got the 82 car of Kingsley Jones on his inside. Jones now moves up into 3rd. Whittle relegated back to 4. Dale 5. Baker back midfield in 6th position. Then we go to Noel Rickstein. Then Nick Girdlestone. 37 car of Weaver. Then we go to Flay. And right down the back end of the field, the little rotary is Ken Pearce, perhaps with some problems there, I think, with the way the excess fuel is getting burned up down the back straight in the little Mazda. About to be engulfed by Kane, Darren Kane now in the 56 car. Comes up through turn 3, puts a lap on Pearce. Marshall still sitting back there in second. 4 laps left on the board. Marshall still in third position, and we go back to the 82 car of Kingsley Jones. Jones holding out Whittle from Dale. Whittle in all sorts of bother down on the front straight. Up against the boards, looks as though he's got some mechanical problems, rolling around on the top. Done some damage in the back of the car, I would suggest. 2 laps left on the board. Orange light comes on as that car has stopped in turn 1. That was Whittle. I would suggest he may have done some rear end damage to that car coming out of turn 4. 97 Ford Thunderbird. Ian Marshall tucked in behind him in the VS Commodore from position 2. Restart now underway. Sprint to the finish. 82 car, Kingsley Jones still sitting in third. Oh, tussle left to right going for 4th and 5th spot. Checkered flag goes out. Win will go to maximum, and the maximum points for the heat going to Kane. Second will go to Marshall from Kingsley Jones. Then Nick Girdlestone, and then Stephen Dale. Just wait for those official. So come around now, green flag in the air, Gavin McEachran off pole. Heat 1 in round 3, Australian Super Sedan title. All get away pretty well. Harper gets a good start there. McEachran comes back down the back straight. Harper and McEachran side by side. Cottrell in 3. Craig Vossenbergen sitting there in 4. Then the 41 car of Lionel West. McEachran. Guys have been working on the car. Gets it set up. Looks as though he's got it set up quite nicely. Pedal down running, Shane Wilson built engine here in Mount Gambier. Pontiac car out of Tasmania at the start of the season. Second spot still being held on to by the 22 car of Neville Harper. Then we go back to Kim Cottrell. Craig Vosberger now gets overhauled by West. Oh, a bit of a bump there. Also coming through there, the 26 car getting trampled up in that also. Gary Bryans trying to get past on Vosbergen. Des Korn also mixed up in there. Debbie Reddycliffe not been able to keep up with these hard charges out in front. McEachran now, down the back straight now. About half heat race distance. Hump and bumping going on still down between Vosbergen. Also taking up now, I think might have been the West. Vosbergen perhaps having some handling problems with that car and has a flat outside rear. He will circulate on the infield chasing points. Meanwhile, McEachran now got the car set up very nicely down the back straight, about to put a lap on Debbie Reddycliffe. Got the car set up perhaps just nicely, a little bit on the loose side. Puts it up on the cush. Runs out of turn 2, about to come up onto the tail of Reddycliffe. Goes down, puts it on the pole line, moves through. Debbie does the right thing, leaves the gate open for him. Harper still managing to hold out Cottrell back there in second and third spot. Then we go back to the 26 car of Gary Bryans. Then Corn's car starting to hook up slightly through turn 2. Then we go back to Lionel West. Gambier now, still out in the lead. Loads it nicely through turn 3, 4, gets a wide flag, 1 lap to go. All he's got to do now is hold it together, sits it nicely on the cush as he heads down the back straight. But the battle still going on between Harper Cottrell and the 26 car of Bryans for the minor places. The checkered flag goes out. Maximum points to Mount Gambier's 79 car, sponsored by Trident Tyres, Gavin McEachran. Second will go to the 22 car driven by Neville Harper. Third to Kim Cottrell. Finishing in 4th, Gary Bryans from Des Corn, Lionel West. Debbie Reddycliffe. And I think Craig Vosbergen would have picked up final places after, unfortunately, picking up a flat tyre, so he's not having a very good night at all. 51-year-old Big Bad Bert Vosbergen from Western Australia on pole position. Steve Stewart on his outside. Miller back there in the second row out of 4. Pushing and shoving through turn 1, turn 2. Girdlestone got a good start there, made up some good ground up in the second, right on the tail of Vosbergen now. Then we go back to Stewart. Then Brown, Miller. Now Nick Nicola there. Nicola, yes, has a flat outside rear. Gets punted by the 15 car of 18 car, sorry, of Noel Rickstein. Yes, flat outside rear to Nick Nicola. I tell you what, his work's getting harder and harder to defend his number 1 status. Now just looking for Nicola. Looks as though he will take no part in this heat, so no points for Nicola in this heat. Vosbergen and Stewart to lead them away. Vosbergen runs up wide. Stewart goes with him. Another good start to Nick Girdlestone from Queensland. Bill Miller also going well, as is Brown in the 66 car. 15 car of Clay still circulating, as is Noel Rickstein. Bert Vosbergen looking for maximum points. All gets hooked up slightly there, coming out of 4. This has let Stewart get his nose up in front. Vosbergen pushing and shoving, trying to get back. Girdlestone now, he makes the most of it. The situation also, his turn up in the lead now. Stewart relegated back to second. Vosbergen now up into third. Then we go back to, I think it's the 66 car of Brown. Then to Bill Miller in the 77. He's sitting there in 5th spot. Clay in 6th. Noel Rickstein in 7th. Vosbergen fighting pretty hard there with the car. Goes back another position now. Bill Miller just sticks his nose up past him, trying to get past into that 4th spot. Nick Girdlestone in the car, only 2 meetings old. Wine with the floral colours now, leads them through. Stewart and Brown fight it out for second. Brown up into second now. Some 6 laps left to go. Stewart relegated back into third. Then we go back to the 77 car, the Brer Rafael Auto Parts car driven by Bill Miller. Bert Vosbergen tucked in behind him. Then we go back to Clay from the Northern Territory. Noel Rickstein after that incident sitting well back in the field. Lap being put on one of the slower cars here. Nick Girdlestone and Brown fight it out. Brown really starting to get the feel of the track now. Pushing Girdlestone right to the limit. Been over 3 laps left to compete. Girdlestone gets a little hooked up coming out of turn 3. Brown not being able to take advantage of the situation. Still sitting there in second. Looks for a good run down the back straight into turn 3. Pushes in hard, going on the high line. Pushes it right up high in the cush. Takes over the lead. 2 laps left to go. Brown in the 66 car. Been looking good through the earlier heats. Hasn't been able to get up to top three, but now looking quite comfortable there in the G-Force car. 66 car relegating Nick Girdlestone back to second. Third's been held on to by the 47 car of Stewart, then back to Miller. Checkered flag about to come out now. Maximum points for this heat going to the 66 car, driven by Brown. John Brown taking maximum points. Nick Girdlestone finishing in second in the Boral Energy 21 car, the big Pontiac. Another interesting heat. Let's see how they go. Graham Calland off pole. Peter Logue looking for more points here. Good start to Baker. Ron Pine goes with him around the outside. Gets his door shut on him. So Peter Logue moves up into second. Pine fast around turn 3. Gets a good high line there. Moves up and consolidates his third spot. 42 car of Calland now, about to be overhauled by Marshall. Hicks also going with him. Lap down, Peter Logue now up into the lead. Alan Baker in car 3, right over the back of him. Logue gets a good run out of turn 2, bullets down the back straight, makes up good ground. I tell you what, the crew need to be commended for reading the track. Set the car up very nicely, Logue's getting the power to the ground quite well. Baker's still in second. Then we go back to Ron Pine. Ian Gabby Marshall sitting there in fourth. Then we go to, I think it's the Gary Hicks in the 81. Then to Calland, Peter Drew, and the 33 car tulling out the field, Tony Barklemore. 7 laps to go now. Peter Logue already has a one heat win, looking for those valuable points through the heats tonight for position to determine his position tomorrow night in the final of the ASCF Australian Super Sedan title. Alan Baker now with all sorts of trouble as he's got Ron Pine in the 7 car right over the back of him. Baker slides up momentarily. Pine makes up a little bit of ground as our leader. Peter Logue puts a lap on the 33 car of Barklemore. Alan Baker runs up wide there. Ron Pine makes it the advantage of it, takes over second spot. Baker relegated back to third. Then we go to Marshall and Hicks. Hicks fighting it out now with Marshall for a 4th spot. Field putting a lap on Barklemore. Baker gets tied up badly with him, loses a little bit more ground. Pines consolidates his second position as he heads down the back straight. Gets a bit of a break now on Baker. 3 laps left on the board. Peter Logue, not a worry in the world, out in front at the moment. Sets it up in the push. Bullets out of turn 2, comes out of there very nicely. Gets a good run down the back straight. Ron Pine still sitting in second. Baker trying desperately to make up ground. White flag out now. Last lap for these guys. Marshall still sitting there in 4th, trying to hold off Gary Hicks. The checkered flag goes out now to Peter Logue, Victorian title holder. Second place will go to the 7 car of Ron Pine. Third over the line will be Baker in the 3 car. Ian Gabby Marshall will finish 4th from Gary Hicks in 5. Then I think we'll go to Drew. Also finishing Calland, Barklemore. Full field finish this time. Kingsley Jones not in the right position. See them right now. Rodder to lead them through. Peter Aylett also on the front row. Green flag time. Aylett will lead them through. Rick Steen comes through on the 75. Sits there in second now. Rodder back in third. Kingsley Jones looking for a way around the outside. Also doing well, Wayne Randall. Holds it down low. Moves up into third. Relegates Rodder back one position. Lucas Roberts midfield. Gets it sideways out of 3. Car setting up fairly loose there in midfield. Runs a little high out of 4, keeps it together though, gets the power down to complete another lap. Rickstein still sitting there in second. Then we go back to Rodder. Then to Lucas Roberts. Kingsley Jones in the yellow car there, tucked in behind him. Michael Bogorski sitting midfield. Not really been able to come up with a good so far in this heat. So they go through with 7 laps left on the board. A-lap now. Terry Rickstein with Rodder right on his hammer in the 46. Wayne Randall sitting there in 4th. Then we go back to Roberts. Kingsley Jones, Michael Bogorski. Burton has moved up a position, relegating Burke back to the rear of the field. Aylet leads them down the back straight once again. Rodder looking for any way possible to make up ground on Rickstein. Trying it up around on the high line. Gets a good run down the straight, pops it down on the inside. Oh, gives Rickstein a bit of a tap for his trouble. Manages to take over second position now. Rodder runs high. Rickstein still holding on to that lower line. Can't make up any real ground on him. Sitting still there in 4th is Wayne Randall. Tucked in behind him is the 54 car of Lucas Roberts. Peter Aylet though, out in front, quite comfortable at the moment in the 9 car. Rodder coming back, I tell you what, he's coming in fits and bursts, making up ground now on Aylet. Setting it right up on the push there, trying for a fast run down the start. Finish straight now, white flag out, 1 lap to go. Rodder comes at Aylet out of turn 2. Tries to get a good run down the back straight. Aylet's covering himself quite well. Rodder, I think, hasn't had the best of runs through turn 3, 4. That'll take any chances of taking out the win, but Aylet takes the checkered flag. Rodder will have to be content with second place points. Terry Rickstein will finish in 3rd from the 54 car of Lucas Roberts. And tucked in behind him will be Randall, Kingsley Jones, Purden, and then we go back to Michael Bogorski in the 17 car. .31 Michael Biscoe. Okay, let's see how we go this time. Kane with a brilliant start there. Murphy in the 74 car. Gets a good start. McHugh pushes high in the 23. Then we go back to Kane. Dave Gardner now up into 3rd position. Stephen Dale with some getting it hooked right up out of turn 1. Now up into 5th spot. Murphy from McHugh. Then we go to Dave Gardner, Darren Kane, Stephen Dale in the little V6. We'll just keep an eye on the action up front at the moment as McHugh slips up into the lead from Murphy. Murphy sets it down on the pole line. Dave Gardner elects to go up high and sets it on the board, slips up into 2nd spot. Down through turn 3, puts it down on the low line. Inside McHugh now. Now we have an orange light coming on. Looks as though we have debris on the racetrack over in turn 1. Will start in front at the restart. Jamie McHugh. Dave Gardner in the Shane Wilson Pontiac out of 2. Stephen Murphy out of 3. Darren Kane from 4, Stephen Dale 5. Indian file restart. Gardner didn't get the best of starts there. Murphy made up a little bit of ground. Gardner gets clear once again. McHugh still in the lead. Gardner out after him. Murphy with all sorts of trouble with Kane working hard on the back of the car. Distinctive roar of the little V6 Chevrolet in the Nissan ZX of Stephen Dale in the 5th position. He's got all sorts of pressure being put on him by Andrew Keane. Has passed him. Dale, bucking Bronco, comes through turn 4. Yaku now. Through turn 3, comes out of turn 4, down the start finish straight. Gardner working hard, using a similar line out of the course. Makes up some ground as he comes out of 2. McHugh slid up a little bit towards the boards, had to perhaps lose a little bit of ground. Gardner reading it all the better, sitting it right on the push, right on the hammer on McHugh now. Coming up on some lap traffic, this could play a part in it. Some 3 laps left. Maximum points up for grabs here, or just McHugh and Gardner hammer and tongs at it. Gardner's going to try a different line, almost runs up the left, the tail of the slower car, side by side out of 2, there they come now. McHugh just managed to hold out Gardner. Gardner pushing hard, got the Shane Wilson Chevrolet working overtime under the bonnet, trying to get that power down the track, trying everything he can to get past on the McHugh. Darren Kane still sitting there for his 3rd. Then we go back to Murphy, then to the 27 car of Andrew Keane. The checkered flag comes out. The win will go to McHugh. Hard fought for 2nd. Dave Gardner missed it by about 3/4 of a car length. Then we go to Darren Kane, will get 3rd points. Then to, was it Murphy, I think? Well, what a race between those 2 front runners. We'll just try and get a... Kingsley Jones to start off pole. He will determine the race speed. Likes to bring them around nice and slowly. Starting on the Knoxville white line. Down here on the exit of turn 4. That's it there. Green flag. Racing gets underway. Oh, Jones gives Murphy a little bit of a nudge. Vosbergen makes the most, but trying to slip up on the pole line. Things a little bit greasy and slippery out there. Lucas getting tangled up down the back of the field there with 21 car. Soon recovers. Kingsley Jones now gets down to business. 12 lap duration for the heats. Leads him through for another lap. Murphy's still there in 2nd from Vosbergen. Then the 41 car of Lionel West. Then back to Kim Cottrell, Darren Kane, John Brown, Stephen Dale. Dale running a little wide there. Lucas Roberts in the 54 down the tail end of the field, as is Michael Biscoe. Vosbergen in 3rd position, working hard to try and get up on the back of Murphy. Vosbergen all the way over from Western Australia. Darren Kane now in between Brown and Cottrell. Down through turn 3 they go. Conditions just a little greasy out there at the moment. Taking a while to buzz the top off the circuit. Brown running out high, right on the back of Darren Kane. Gets a good run out of turn 2 down the back straight. 6 laps left to complete now. Kingsley Jones still leads them through. Smurf Murphy still in 2nd. Then we go back to Bert Vosbergen. In 4th, Lionel West in the 41 VR Commodore. Then we go back to Cottrell. Cottrell in the Pontiac, been campaigning Super Sedans for a number of years. He's a regular competitor here at the borderline. Darren Kane sitting in behind Cottrell. Then we go back to John Brown. Brown looking for a way around, perhaps on the high line. Stephen Dale, Lucas Roberts tucked behind those. Then we go back to Bisco tailing out the field. Getting down to the business end of this first heat for tonight. Kingsley Jones still managing to hold off Murphy, but Murphy, I'll tell you what, making up good ground. Bert Vosbergen sitting there right, probably within reach too, also in third spot. These three runners, front runners, drawing away from the rest of the field. I tell you what, as the white flag goes out now, this is on for the last lap. Kingsley Jones and Smith fighting it out. Jones just managed to hold out Murphy. Murphy tries to come in on the inside of Jones through turn 4, can't do so. First heat win for the night too, Kingsley Jones. Second will go to Peter Murphy, third to Bert Vosbergen. Fourth will go to the 41 of Lionel West, followed over by Kim Cottrell, Darren Kane, John Brown. A suspension basically that has infinite settings with can alter spring rates, dampening and so forth, load up the torsion bars, you name it. But heat 1 about to get underway. Barklemore to lead them away. Alan Baker goes with him. Oh, Barklemore missed the start bad. And number 3, Alan Baker, got away a little better. Girdlestone goes with him. Girdlestone in the 21 car from Queensland. Then we go back to the 33 of Tony Barklemore, our pole sitter. Ron Pine working hard down there, trying to find a way around Peter Aylett. Oh, Peter Logan, all sorts of trouble down towards the end of the field. Got balked by Pine. Craig Vosbergen tucked in behind him. Then we go to the 25 of Kevin Purton, and rounding out the field is the Brian Flay Corvette. Alan Baker in the Falcon now, leads them through for another lap. Some 9 laps left on the board. Nick Girdlestone sitting in a second. I think he may be wearing down Baker's lead at this stage. Oh, Ron Pine's got a little bit of debris hanging off the back of the car there, trying to work his way around the inside of Peter Aylett. 33 car out in front of those two. That's Barklemore, our pole sitter. Track starting to come down now. Peter Lowe starting to find his feet. Car pushing slightly into turn 1. Coming up onto the back of Pine. Still only in midfield. Of course, our race leader is the number 3 car there of Alan Baker. Baker from New South Wales. Girdlestone wheeling him in ever so slightly, lap by lap in second position. Girdlestone from Queensland. Then we go back to the 33 from New South Wales, Tony Barklemore. Then he's got Ron Pine from New South Wales also in the 7. Then we go to Peter Aylett's got problems, I think, running high through turn 4. Looks as though he has got problems. He's going to come to a halt. This should bring on the orange. Caution on the racetrack. '86 Camaro of Peter Aylett has come to a grinding halt, bringing on the orange. It was unfortunate not to be able to get to the infield. In behind him is the Nick Girdlestone car. The 15 is a lap down, that's Flay. Then we go back to Barklemore, Ron Pine, Peter Logue, Vosbergen and Bert Purton. Underway once again now. 3 laps on the board. And we've got a little bit of a tangle down the On turn 1, turn 2, orange light comes on once again. The pick up quickly, Baker up there and about to go for the green flag. Girdlestone right on his tail, 3 laps once more on the board. Barklemore gets past Flay, who is a lap down, does the right thing, moves to the outside and lets the guys go through. Very good racing by Flay. Baker now leads through, Girdlestone coming with him. He knows the checkered flag's only a couple of laps away. He wants those heat points. Tucked right in behind Baker. Baker wouldn't want to make so much as an inch of a mistake and he will be out of it. Look at the race going back down for third spot. As Barklemore balks Pine, lets Logue get through. Logue having a bit of a rock and a tumble there with Pine. Makes up position now. 1 lap down. Checkered flag goes out to Baker. Second across the line, taking out second points will be Girdlestone. Barklemore for third. Peter Logue unofficially fourth. Then we go back to Pine. We'll just wait for the official positions there. Peter Logue being brought up to have a little chat with the steward.
Okay, just having a quick chat to Alan Baker. Now, Alan, you had a little bit of interesting luck at practice last night. Tell me what exactly happened to the car.
Dropped a valve in the engine and put a hole in the piston. Sort of destroyed the inside of the engine a little bit.
Well, that would have made a lovely jigsaw puzzle for somebody, but it doesn't exactly go too well when it's under the bonnet. So it's been a rather expensive weekend. The car is now up and running. You've managed to obtain a new engine. Tell us about it.
Well, a fellow competitor from Newcastle, Greg Smith, has bought the car that we're driving at the moment, and he was going to take ownership of it after this weekend. So he was good enough to lend me his engine so I could compete tonight.
Well, I tell you what, you can't get too much more generous than that. And I mean, you've been around racing for a long time. That type of sportsmanship really does, mean a lot, doesn't it?
Certainly does. It really gives you a good feeling inside.
Now, talk about feeling inside. How's the car feeling now, and what do you think your chances are going to be for the weekend?
The car's feeling really good. We're going to have another short practice in a moment, but the short one we had last night, the car felt really good. Sits well on the track, and the engine I've got's just as much power as I had before, so we're going to win number 1.
So it's very confident. I was about to say, who would you pick it, but it sounds like you're going for yourself.
Me. Well,
that's a good positive attitude to have. Good luck for the weekend. I hope you achieve your number 1.
Certainly will. Thank you.
Thanks for that.
Made up of Neville Harper and Gavin McEachran, also from Mount Gambier. Next row, Steve Stewart, Jamie McCall. Green flag in the air. Defending champion off pole, Dave Gardner on his outside. Gardner gets a good run, runs a little bit wide there. Steering with the throttle, gets up into the lead. Nicola in second. Gavin McEachran now works his way down on the pole line. Tries to get in underneath Nicola, can't do so. McHugh sitting there in 4th spot. Then we go back to the 22 car of Neville Harper. Gardner looking good in the Shane Wilson Engines Pontiac out in front. Ran a brilliant second last night and towards the end of the night's racing. He's going on with the job at the moment. Looks good out there in front at the moment. Nick Nicola, defending Australia 1 title holder, sitting there in second. He's the one with all the work to do tonight. Didn't have a very good night at all last night. Got a lot of points to catch up with. Gavin McEachran from Mount Gambier, sponsored by Trident Tyres, right here in Mount Gambier, sitting there in third. Tucked in behind him is Jamie McHugh, points leader after last night's racing, sitting there in 4th spot. Bit of a gap back then to the 22 car of Neville Harper. Then 47 tucked in behind him. That's Steve Stewart. Then Ian Gabby Marshall, Peter Drew, and trying to pick up the tail end of the field. That's the 37 car of Mark Weaver. Nicola now starting to make up ground on our race leader, the 44 car of Dave Gardner, right on him now. Debbie Redcliffe about to get a lap put on her by our race leaders. Will she hold them up? Sits up fairly high on the push. Garner powers down underneath her. Nicola looking for the gap also. Gardner gets through cleanly through turn one. Oh, Nicola gets a bit of a tap there by Debbie Redcliffe, perhaps not realising as she comes through. Gardner, McEachran and McHugh make the most of it. Oh, Nicola runs out wide. McEachran gets through. Mount Gambier drivers 1-2 at the moment with 4 laps left on the board. Gardner in the Shane Wilson's engines Pontiac leads them through now. 3 laps left to go. McEachran pushing hard there in second. Nicola's got another breath of wind. He's come back at him. Take nothing away from this guy. He is Mr. Desperate. He will get out there and race all that he has to. Jamie McHugh sitting there in 4th. He's not going to let Nicola get away with too much either. Big gap then back to the rest of the field. Leading the next pack is Neville Harper. He's got Stewart tucked in behind him, and Marshall also right in behind Stewart now. White flag goes out. Dave Gardner goes through, still in the lead. 1 lap to go. Gavin McEachran sitting there in second. Mick Nicola in third. McHugh menacingly sitting in 4th. Less than a corner to go now. Checkered flag goes out to Dave Gardner, the local boy. First season in Super Sedans. Give him a hand, ladies and gentlemen. He's one of the locals. Gavin McEachran making it 1-2 for Mount Gambier in this particular heat. Gavin McEachran got a heat win last night, so that will do him wonders in the points tally running up to the final. Prior to tonight's racing, Gardner sitting in 9th place and Gavin McEachran back in 12th spot, so those are... Andrew Keane from South Australia out of 4. Burke sitting there in 5th spot. Racing. Grinstead gets a good start. Just managed to hold off McAuliffe through turn 1. Gets a little bit of a tap there for McAuliffe. Doesn't upset him too much. Rodder moves up into second. McAuliffe doing the high line around the outside. Pulls it in nicely. Gets a good run out of there. Runs side by side with Rodder. Down straight. Oh, gives him a bit of a tap. Cars going left and right. No real damage done. 27 car coming through there, make up some ground. As Keane, Steve Redcliffe also sitting there midfield, trying to come through and find the gap as Bryans. A little bit of rough and tumble going on down the back there. Reichstein trying to get through on the inside of Bryans. Grinstead leading the way now with some 8.5 laps to go. Rodder going with him quite comfortably. 27 car of Andrew Keane now moving up into 3rd. McAuliffe 4th. Bryans 5th. Reichstein tucked in behind there in the 6th position. Track allowing itself 2 or 3 good race lines at this stage. Some of the guys preferring to run up fairly high. Also been able to tuck in low through the traffic if need be. 6 laps left on the board for our leader now. Tony Grinstead in the 78 car. Grinstead, of course, from Victoria, running the EF Falcon body car. Rodder tucked in behind. Rodder also from Victoria. These two drawing right away from the rest of the field. Andrew Keane in a very lonely 3rd spot. Then we go back to Bryans. 75 of Reichstein. Phil McAuliffe working his way back through the field, just in front of Steve Redcliffe. Redcliffe doing some radical line changing at the moment. Almost took out 95 car up there with Burke. 2 laps left on the board. Grinstead getting mixed in with the traffic now, makes his way through Redcliffe. Rodder looking for a way through also. This is where Ryder perhaps can get the chance to get up onto the tail of Grinstead, but the white flag is out now. McAuliffe just getting a lap put on him. Grinstead gets through cleanly. McAuliffe sits up high. Lets Ryder get through on the end. Oh, it doesn't make it all that comfortable for him. Checkered flag comes out. Heat 3 win to Tony Grinstead. Takes out top points. John Ryder in the 46 will go through for second. Then we'll go back to the 27 car, I think. Just wait for the official places of Andrew Keane, followed through by Gary Bryans, Terry Reichstein. Twelve laps on the board. Heat 5. Noel Reichstein. Oh, gets top and a bit of trying to stack them up down there. Orange light will no doubt come on. Michael Bogorski in the 17 pulls up, tangled up down there. We have Bill Miller, Gary Hicks, and Des Corn. Des Corn was deemed responsible for the accident last night involving himself and Craig Vosbergen. And Callan making up row 2, Corn and Miller from row 3. So we have Callan on the infield. Bogorski will lead them out of turn 1 this time. Noel Reichstein in 2. Hicks looking for a way through back there in 4th position. Trying to find a way around the 76 car of Wayne Randall. Randall gets some power down now. Comes up on the back of Noel Reichstein. Pushes him hard through turn 3. Then we go back to Hicks, Miller and Corn. But it's Bogorski, Michael Bogorski in the 17 from Tasmania out in front. Had a mediocre night last night, but looks as though he's settling in a little bit better this time. Noel Reichstein still managing to hold out Randall in 3rd. Then Gary Hicks gets a good run down the outside. Pushes hard into turn 3. That's how you do it. From position 4 to position 2. The 81 car of Gary Hicks, the big mover in the field now. He's out after our leader, Michael Bogorski. 8 laps on the board. Got plenty of time to do it. Cush starting to form up there through turn 4. And boys starting to, tending to drift up there and use that part of the racetrack. It was certainly the fastest line last night. Hicks now starting to wear down Bogorski's lead. Some 6 laps left to go. Noel Reichstein managing to hold out Randall still. These two have been having this battle right from the start of this heat. Miller a heat winner last night, not being able to find a way around these guys. Then we go back to Corn down the back end of the field. Bogorski now from Tasmania in the immaculately turned out 17 car. It's actually a 96 Camaro. Leads them down the back straight. Hicks still grinding away at that lead. Only 3 laps left to do it. Perhaps Bogorski can hold on to that position. Hicks, though, fighting desperately, though, still making up good ground. But look at the tussle down here for 3rd. Noel Reichstein battling it out. Randall tucked in behind him. Des Corn has managed to get up past Miller. They're having their own battle, but looking it up the front now. Bogorski still managing to keep Hicks at bay. Hicks within a car length now. White flag out. Oh, this is going to be a good finish for this heat now. Last lap time. Hicks side by side with Bogorski as they head out of turn 2. Put it down the back straight. Bogorski up on the high line. Then to turn 3. Hicks puts the power down, trying to run up. Can't do so. Bogorski from Tasmania takes a heat win. First heat win for him for the weekend, running up to the title later on tonight. He needs those points. Gary Hicks finishing in second. Just wait to see who was officially third, and fourth was Noel Reichstein and Randall, but they were having outside. Andrew Keane out of 3. Redcliffe out of 4. Then we go back to Rodder and Vosbergen. 12 laps on the board. Flag goes down, pedals to the metal. Dale gets in, holds it moderately low, will lead them out of turn 2. Grinstead going with him. Rest of the field sort themselves out. Redcliffe in the 11 up into third. Pushing through Vosbergen. Vosbergen tries in between Redcliffe and Keane. Things getting a little bit untidy there. John Rodder getting a bit of a bump there. Loses quite a bit of pace, spins out onto the infield. Orange light comes on. Restart. Things a little bit hectic down towards the rear of the field. Lights out, see how they go this time. Steve Dale to lead them away, gets the pressure down. Grinstead's going to go with him this time. Oh, a bit of a push and shove. Oh! Hoo-wee! Let's stack them down in turn 2.
Now, for all of you spectators who have never seen the undercarriage of a super sedan, I suggest you just get on down to turn 2 and you're going to get a really good look at this stage, Paul.
Getting hooked up there, parking the car. Darren Kane lucky to clear out of that pack there, facing the wrong way around out in turn 2. Flag goes down this time. Redcliffe missing some roof components off his car in the 11. Gets through that time. Grinstead now up into the lead. Dale relegated back to second. Then we go to Redcliffe. Then Reichstein. Darren Kane gets past Keane. Then we go back to Bisco. Grinstead, the ex-NASCAR competitor, out in the lead. 10 laps left to compete. Stephen Dale managing to hold on to second. Coming across from Western Australia for the title this weekend. Steve Redcliffe getting the pressure put right on him. Darren Kane, the one working hard, down on the pole line at this stage. Gets up past Kane and Reichstein. That puts him up into third spot. Oh, and we've got Reichstein, as I mentioned, him has climbed into the wall down on turn 2. Once again, the orange light comes on. Just managing to get tangled up there. Looks as though once he'd hit it the first time, couldn't turn away from it. This restart, 9 laps on the board. Dale out of 2, Kane from 3. Then we go back to Keane. Bisco, Redcliffe relegated to the rear of the field for being deemed the cause of that incident. Roar of the little V6 there, managing to hold on to second spot. Tony Grinstead, in the meantime, clearing away out in the lead. Darren Kane, perhaps the quicker mover on the field at the moment, right on the back of Dale. Pushing hard, tucked in behind him is Keane. Then we go back to Bisco and Redcliffe. Kane now gets in underside Dale. The V6 versus V8 drag down the back straight, nothing between them at all. Dale picks the better line. Kane stuck down on the lower line, can't really make any great advantage of it. Once again, side by side down the back. Dale gets a better run out at turn 2, still managing to hold on to that second spot with 5 laps left on the board. Grinstead, oblivious to all this, out in a lonely race out on his own out in front, but that battle's still going on side by side down the back straight. Dale and Kane. Good close professional racing between these two, racing door hand to door handle. Keane still tucked there in 4th spot, then go back to Michael Bisco, has had an improved run. Steve Redcliffe dropping back as the heat goes on. Well, look at these two here in second. Dale and Kane still side by side. Dale overcooks it a little that time coming out of turn one. Runs a little high. Bogs it down slightly. Lets Kane take the advantage. Dale now relegated back to third. Keane starting to move up onto the tail of him now. Darren Kane in the 56 car. White flag out. Kane from Tasmania sitting there in second, out after the 78 car from Victoria of Grinstead. Checkered flag about to come out now for Tony Grinstead. Takes the heat win. Second across the line will be Darren Kane. Third points will go to the V6 Nissan of Stephen Dale. Then back to Andrew Keane, followed through by the 31 car of Michael Biscoe and Steve Riddycliffe rounding out the field. Orange light out. Brian Flay leads them around. Flay from Northern Territory in the Camaro. Oh, a bit of a ragged start. 3 wide there coming across the line. Roberts around the outside. Flay gets a spin. Gets tangled up with Kingsley Jones on the infield. No real damage done, I don't think, at this stage. To round 5 about to get underway. Kingsley Jones gets the pedal to the metal, gets underway. Lucas Roberts goes with him. Bert Vosbergen bites his way up into second, holding Lucas out wide. Dave Gartner coming through on the pole, just steadying himself, avoids Vosbergen there. Heads now up high. Oh, comes through, taps into the back of Vosbergen. Vosbergen, oh, then comes through, hits Nicola and gets tapped into the fence. Lionel West also in the carnage. Oh, well, I tell you what, West Australia's Vosbergen's attracting carnage tonight like the proverbial magnet. Big bad Bert Vosbergen, 51 years old, multi-West Australian title holder. His car out there not looking the best at the moment. Got very untidy out of 2. Mick Nicola rode a wheel there. It would look coming out of turn 2. The guy's quickly looking around that car to see if there was any damage to the rear. Gets himself away. Coming around this time. Jones certainly likes to keep them, bring them in slow. Gets to the white line, hits the gas pedal. Up into the lead now, Lucas Roberts going with him. Good start there also from Gartner. Up into third, Nicola in position 4. Oh, nice line down low by Gartner. Tucks it right inside Lucas Roberts. Meanwhile, Kingsley Jones leads them through. Gartner tucked inside down low. Forks it slightly. Roberts still will hold on to the second position as they cross the line with some 10 laps left on the board. Kingsley Jones out in front, sits it on the cush through turn 4. Lucas Roberts still managing to hold out Gartner. Nicola sitting back there waiting, I think, for Gartner to clear the way through. Lucas Roberts has got that line sorted out, covering himself quite nicely. Gartner's going to have to try down on the low line if he's going to get past Roberts. Nicola sitting there behind Gartner. He's going to try for the low line also. Murphy tucked in behind Nicola. Then we go well back down to Flay. Nicola now looks as though he's found the hole through on Gartner. Gartner gets a better run out of turn 1, sits it up on that cush boring now, gets a run down the outside. Will hold it up in the high line, pulls it down hard, trying once again to get in underneath Roberts, can't do so. Roberts driving a very, very cautious race. Once again, Gartner tries pulling it down now turn 2 to get an inside run on Roberts, can't do much about it. Keeps trying it, that's all he can do. Roberts is sitting there, make it very, very hard to get past. All they can basically do is wait for him. Gartner's still getting a good run out of 2, but Roberts covers himself once again. Nicola in all sorts of trouble back there, balks it in turn 3. This lets Murphy get right up on his inside. Can't really get past him though. No change in their order. Gartner gets a better run this time out of turn 2. Still can't get Roberts. Nicola, he's gone right down on the pole line this time. No good down there. Comes back up high once again. Kingsley Jones drawing right away. I think Lucas Roberts is actually holding up Gartner and Nicola. 2 laps left on the board. Gartner desperately trying to get past Roberts, trying every possible trick in the book. Nicola sitting there, he's just doing likewise, can't really do much about it. Roberts is covering himself very well. Gartner gets a better run this time. If he's going to get past, he's going to do it this time. Can't do so. White flag out now. Kingsley Jones leads through. Then we go back to Roberts, Gartner, Nicola, and then to Murphy. Last chance now. Checkered flag has already been given to Jones, so I'll pick up the rest of them. Second place will go to Lucas Roberts. Gartner just managing to hold out Nicola for 3rd. Nicola will take 4th position points, then go back to Murphy for 5th, then followed over by Flay.
Just chatting to Mick Nicola. Now, Mick, you are the reigning Australian champion, and I tell you what, it's been a very long time since we've had back-to-back winners. I notice it's one of your ambitions. What do you rate your chances at here at the Borderline this weekend?
Well, every race you've got to have a little bit of luck and get the car together and all that, so hopefully we get it all together again tonight.
So the car's looking pretty good. Practice last night, not too bad?
Yeah, practice was good last night, but the track does change every night and a different amount of cars running on it, so hopefully we can follow and chase the track.
So you're happy with the draw, different drivers, etc., that's in your particular heats for the weekend?
Yeah, but it all still boils down to like a bit of luck and getting through all the heats, and the feature's the main one.
Yeah, that it definitely is. I tell you what though, there's a lot of guys out there that are really fighting hard to get in it. Who would you actually think are going to be your main competition out there?
Well, there's actually plenty of good drivers here, as there was last year. So it really is open slather. If anyone has a bit of good luck and someone has a bit of bad luck, anyone can get up there and win it.
Well, good luck for the weekend. I hope you can make it back to back.
So do I. Thank you.
Heat 3, round 5, Australian Super Sedan title. Peter Drew to lead them away. Noel Reichstein on his outside. Then we go to Stewart and Logue, Burke and Baker. Green flag down. Drew will lead them away. Stewart sitting there in 2nd. Reichstein holding on to 3rd. Then we go back to Logue, Baker and Marshall. Peter Drew will lead them through for the first time. Drew had a spectacular accident at Hamilton in the second leg of the Tri-City Series back a few weeks ago. Totally demolished the car. He's certainly got it back in race trim at the moment and is leading Heat 3. Stewart in the 47 car follows him through. Stewart, of course, in the Camaro, tucked in behind him now. Peter Logue moving up through the field, tucked in behind him in the number 3 Falcon is Baker. Then we go back to Marshall. Then Reichstein, Burke, Purton and Nugent. Drew now got the pressure put right on him as he heads down the back straight with 7.5 laps to go. Stewart, Logue right in behind him in 3rd spot, then back to Baker. Pretty evenly spaced, these front 4, but all quite within reach of one another. All Logue gets checked there by Stewart, relegated back 1 position. Baker gets through him. Logue now back to 4th spot. Marshall sitting there in 5th. Time ticks away now. Peter Drew still managing to hold onto the lead. Stewart trying to make up ground on him, as is Baker. Baker putting together quite a solid heat this time. Logue now coming up, trying to get back up into that 3rd position. Lost a position on a previous lap by getting checked by Stewart. Tapped him offline ever so slight, but he's coming back strongly now onto the tail of Baker. Drew still leads him now. Stewart, Baker right up alongside Stewart as they come out of turn T. They're bunching right up now. 4 laps left on the board as we get Burt goes infield in the number 5 car. Baker now coming back at Stewart into turn 3. Loeb menacingly sitting there in 4th spot. Our leader now, Peter Drew, coming up onto the tail of Nugent. Nugent down, sitting right on the pole line as they start to feed their way through on him. He's going to balk them slightly out of turn 2. No, they get around cleanly. Holds his line. White flag out now. Peter Drew leading with on the last lap. Then we go to Stewart, Baker, Loeb, Marshall. Well back down to Flay and Burton. Checkered flag about to come out now. Give a heat win to Peter Drew in the number 8 car. Second place will go to Stewart in the 47, then to third place to car 3, Baker. Fourth place points to Peter Logue. Then we go back to Ian Marshall in rounding out the top 5. Race time 2:54.42. Up with the goods in an earlier heat and got top points. Got his 36 points for his win. Gary Bryan's Ron Pine there in row 2. Then we go back to Cowland and Hicks for row 3. Flag goes down. Bogorski up into the lead once again. Ron Pine working hard around the outside, as does Hicks. Getting themselves sorted out now. Bogorski will lead them through for the first time. Ron Pine clipped in second there. Then we go back to Bryan's. Hicks sitting there in 4th, then go back to, it's the 26 car, yes, of Gary Bryan sitting in 3rd. Then we go to Hicks, Callan and Reddycliffe. Quickly put to the rear of the field by the hard chargers out in front, leading the pack from Tasmania. Michael Bogorski, as I say it, gets balked slightly up on that high line. Looks as though he was going to run over the cush. Backed off slightly, managed to get the power back down. Ron Pine made the most of it, running pretty well side by side down the back straight now. Bogorski up high. Ron Pine drifts out likewise, coming out of 4, relegates himself, or still holds onto that second spot, trying to push down low to get past Bogorski once again down the back straight. Byrons and Hicks sitting back there in 3rd and 4th spots respectively. Then we go back to Callan and Reddycliffe rounding out the field. 6.5 laps left on the board. New leader, Ron Pine in the 7 car, the New South Wales 7 Camaro, out in the lead now. Bogorski sitting there in 2nd. Now he's got to worry about Bryans and Hicks sitting there in 3rd and 4th spot. Then we go back still to Cowland on a lonely 5th spot. Still some length of the front straight behind this front pack. Ron Pine slowly drawing away from Bogorski and co. Comes across the line now with 4 laps to complete. Bogorski still holding on to 2nd. Just managed to hold out Bryans. Hicks trying to get a fast run around the outside. Bryans pushes it right up on the cush, or runs out over the tush into the soft stuff. Can't do any good. Tries for a hard run around turn 1, turn 2. Bryans covers his line well. Hicks can't go on with the power. Bogorski gets a little untidy down out of turn 4. Bryan and Hicks move up a little closer to him. White flag goes out now to Pine. Pine in a Camaro from New South Wales. Bogorski still holding on to 2nd. Oh, it's rough and tumble. Angle parking over in turn 2. Hicks and Bryans get tangled up there. End up angle parking.
Just out of curiosity, Paul, are those two both Victorians?
Hicks in the 81 car from Western Australia, so you can't use that as a...
just a theory, Paul, just a theory.
Just a theory, no. Sorry, in 4th spot there was the 81 car of Western Australia's Gary Higgs. Sorry, Gary. Trying to take away points for you. In the meantime, John Brown about to get Heat 5 underway. Last chance for the guys to get points. Brown with Girdlestone is outside. McEachran there sitting in 4th spot. And spin there with McHugh. Almost gets it together. Orange light comes on. A little bit of a pirouette there from Des Corn, not seeing the yellow in time. Spun the car as to avoid a rear-end collision, I think, with Gavin McEachran. And in 4. Then back to Neville Harper, Des Corn, Wayne Randall, Jamie McHugh, Phil McAuliffe, Bill Miller and Mark Weaver. 12 laps on the board, green flag. Girdlestone gets a pretty good start there. Get themselves sorted out. Cars going infield. Des Corn, Bill Miller, and Gavin McEachran into the wall. I tell you what, Gavin McEachran and Borderline Speedway just do not see eye to eye. This guy would have to have the worst luck here at the Borderline. He actually stated before this weekend he's wished that the title was elsewhere. He has had some mechanical failure at the last, I would suggest, 3 or 4 meetings here. Blew an engine and a quick change in 2 earlier meetings here. Let's hope the guys can get that car repaired. Looks as though pulled the centre out of a wheel. Hopefully it's only the centre. Up 1 in that particular line. So we have Brown and Girdlestone on the front row. Green flag goes down. Let's see how we go this time. Good start from McHugh. Girdlestone gets a good run down the outside now. Takes the lead. Brown sitting there in 2nd. Then we go back to McHugh. Then the 33 car of Barklemore. Then back to Mark Weaver. Girdlestone from Queensland. 2nd meeting only for this car. First meeting last weekend at Warrnambool for the Victorian title. Out in the lead now, holding out pole sitter in Brown. Jamie McHugh, top point scorer, sitting there in 3rd. And we go back to Barklemore. Then to the 37 of Mark Weaver. Weaver walks slightly coming out of turn 2 now. He's got to contend with the 22 car of Neville Harper right up alongside, still managing to hold him at bay. Back to our leader now. These front 3 tucked right in. This is good close racing. This is the racing you expect to see in an Australian title race. Girdlestone has the car set up very nicely, handling the track conditions pretty well. Sitting there, Brown working overtime in the back of him. Tries to push down low on the inside as they go down with 5 laps to go now. Jamie McHugh still sitting there in 3rd. Then we go back to Barklemore. Then the 37 of Mark Weaver. Then Harper. Miller, of course, on the infield, taking no part in this heat. Our leader now. Girdlestone comes up and puts a lap on Phil McAuliffe. He gets through cleanly, as do Brown and McHugh. Then we go back to Barklemore, still sitting there in his own in 4th spot. But there's a ding-dong battle going on to see who's going to get that 5th spot now. White flag about to come out for our leader. Final heat 5 now, being run on their last lap. Girdlestone from Queensland leads them through. Then we go back to the 66 car of Brown from New South Wales, and a very close finish we see. Girdlestone just managing to take the checkered flag from Brown. Then we go to Jamie McHugh, Barklemore, then the 37 car of Weaver just managing to hold out Neville Harper. And I think next across would have been Wayne Randall. Just quickly, we'll have those official. Stephen Dale on the outside, Reichstein on the inside, 2-lap dash, pedals down, Dale gets a good run around the outside, Reichstein going with him, holds down low, Dale gets a good run down the back straight, Reichstein to do the chasing, checkered flag, sorry, just over 1 lap. Now Reichstein will come in, he will start out of position 20. Now looks as though Gary Bryans in the Victoria 26 car was sitting in position 18, will take no part in this. Neither will 17th place sitter Bill Miller. So this brings out Australia number 1, Nick Nicola. He has chosen the outside, which has been the faster line for the night. Stephen Dale on the inside, pedal to the middle. Nicola out in front. Dale pushes, shove, push through turn 2. Dale spins out. Nicola just to cruise home now, will take the checkered flag. Orange light comes on. We'll just see what will happen there, whether it will be a rerun. Stephen Dale certainly hoping so. There now, McEachran on the fast high line. Nicola, Australia number 1, defending champ, down low. McEachran just not 100% sure how this car's going, but he will know in 1 lap. Even off the line, McEachran up high, pushing hard. Or gets a bit of a tap there by Nicola. Nicola gets a run down the back straight. McEachran tucks in behind him. Won't have the legs now to come up. Checkered flag goes to Nicola. McEachran, well, pretty well McEachran will keep his position of around about position 15 in the final. He's out there, folks. He'll be there. Victorian Mick Nicola, defending Australian champion at the moment. Green flag goes down. Rodder a little bit slow to get away. Nicola down low doing the bids. Rodder tries to get a good run around the outside. Hawke slightly out of 2. There is no room for error at all over this pole shuffle, one lap dash. So Rodder will start out of, at this stage, 14, keeping his position. These are pedals down. Marshall works hard, or gets it balked once again there in turn 2. Comes up the inside of Nicola. He's going to make him work hard, but Nicola's done it once again. Marshall will not better his position. Nicola has now jumped 3 positions. New South Wales number 3, Alan Baker, will come out to do the challenge. Baker from New South Wales. Now Nicola getting the warning flag. I would suggest it is for his driving technique over between 1 and 2. Comes around this time. Nicola on the low line. Baker gets a good start this time on the outside. Gets a run up high. Nicola's got some work to do this time. By geez, he's working hard out of 2. Baker comes up now. Will lead through. Nicola pushes hard. He had nothing to lose. Baker comes up 1. Nicola will start from 12. I get the distinct impression out there that some people have got something against Mick Nicola. Or is it that you're barracking for number 3, Alan Baker? Baker in the Falcon. Moment on the low line. Tony Grinstead, ex-NASCAR driver. Rough and tumble, Baker slips up onto the high line. Grinstead trying to work down underneath him, can't do too much about it. Baker looks as though he's going to take out this one, moves up another position. So Grinstead will start out of around about 12. Okay, they're coming up to the line fairly quickly this time. Baker gets the better start on the outside. Pogorski pushes hard, not much he can do. He's just got to try and run him down the back straight. Hasn't got the legs. Baker looks fairly comfortable, holds a nice tight line, sits the car on the cush, wins another one. Pogorski will not improve his position, or indeed will slip back one. Peter Logue, 49 years old, 97 national champion, numerous state titles. One of the top favourites on the outside, got Baker down on the inside. Baker puts in hard, comes across on the front of Logue. Logue comes back at him. Oh, it's fighting hammer and tongs down the back straight. Baker got the better of that turn 2 incident. Both pretty well come to the line together, but Baker holds on. Alan Baker from New South Wales in the Falcon. Peter Logue drops back one spot to start out of 10. Unofficially, of course, we'll have those for you after the stewards have been over them. Coming out now from Western Australia, Kingsley Jones. Kingsley Jones, 24-year-old, 11 years at the game. Worst racing moment was breaking an arm in the state title. Out to do work now. Kingsley Jones up against Baker. Baker low, Jones high, get away pretty much even Steven. Oh, it's side by side, shuffling and battling. This is do or die effort stuff through turn 1, turn 2. Baker, he's running up high here. Kingsley Jones has got the gate open, but Baker manages to hold on. Baker now moving up 4 positions. Running a 96 Pontiac Firebird up against Baker's Falcon. Baker gets the better run across the line, drifts up in front out of turn 2. That puts the riding pretty well on the wall for Higgs. Higgs doesn't give in though, just in case Baker does happen to run wide. Baker moves up yet once again. Queensland. Yellowstone on the high line, pushes in, bounces nicely off the push, up into the lead down the back street. Gary Higgs trying to come back at him now, has no real answer. Girdlestone pops across the line to take out his first pole shuffle here tonight. Baker not happy. Girdlestone and Kane fight it out. Queenslander against Tasmanian. Kane pops in front there, down the back straight. Girdlestone not giving up at all, comes back. Gets an excellent run up the inside, tap and push over the line. Wow. Them big bruises from up Queensland way. Apple Isle car looking a little bit worse for wear. That car is pretty well gone unscathed all weekend. A bit of pop riveting needed across the front. To do battle now with Girdlestone. Come up to the line. Good clean start from these two. Brown gets the run up high. Girdlestone comes up. He's done it from before from behind in the previous heat, but I don't think he's going to get it the same way this time. John Brown wins his first shuffle. Girdlestone will now start from position 4, unofficial. Now come on you lot out there. Dave Gartner in the 44 on the high line. Come on, let's get behind this guy. First season out there in the Super Sedans, sitting in 3rd spot in the points for the Australian Super Sedan title. Previous street stock national title holder. Running up against John Brown, who is on the low line. Gartner can improve 2 positions. I would suggest it wouldn't worry him too much. 40 lap duration for the final. Good start from Brown. Gartner just tucking in behind. He's going to follow him through. Pushes in hard on the low line. Pretty well, no real change. Brown will now move up to a possible 3rd start. Australia. His brother John, also twice national champion. He's elected to start on the outside now, in the 7 car. Brown on the inside, and the 66 gets a good start, drifts up nicely. I'll tell you what, Poland's got his run on the inside, pushes hard there, but Brown comes off the cush, just gets that extra bit of power to the ground, and takes the checkered flag, moves up yet another spot. Getting down to the business end of the shuffle now. Closest for you as quick as we possibly can. McHugh and Brown fighting it out for pole position for the 1999 ACF Super Sedan title. One quick lap will decide who will start from pole. Good start from McHugh. Brown with the faster run around the outside. Does it nicely off the cush. McHugh, which stays with him down the back straight. He's tucking him down on the pole line and hope for the best. No real chance of that. Unofficial starter from pole position for the 1999 Australian Super Sedan title will be John Brown from New South Wales. Give them a wave your programs, throw your hats in the air, show your appreciation for these guys. They put a lot of effort into getting here this weekend, coming from all corners of Australia. Presented you with an unequal field that you would find anywhere. A lot of work being done by the crews throughout the 2 nights, altering the cars. Pace cars to the infield. Field starts to bunch up now. 20 cars out there. Which one of these will be the Australia 1 title holder after the 40 laps? Green flag in the air. Brown and McHugh on the front row. Flag goes down. Action time here at the borderline. All gone cleanly through turn 2. Dave Gartner gets stuck up high in all sorts of trouble down there, gets it all together again. Sitting back there in about 6th spot, did not get a good start. Sitting back there battling it out with Girdlestone. Our leader now, Brown from McHugh. Then we go back to Pine, Darren Kane. Then the 21 car of Girdlestone, Dave Gardner tucked in behind him in position 6. Then we go back to Alan Baker, Peter Logue, Gary Hicks, Kingsley, Grinstead, Marshall, Bogorski, and Australia number 1 plate holder there back towards the rear part of the field. He's sitting there. That's Nick Nicola. Looks as though early retirement there for Stephen Dale with front end problems on that car. Collapsed front wheel. "36 laps on the board now, looking for our leader. Coming through now, Brown, McHugh right on his tail. Then we go back to the 7 of Ron Pine, sitting there in 3rd position. Then Kane, Girdlestone, Dave Gardner, Alan Baker, Peter Logue working very hard there, still quite within reach, got a 34 odd laps to go, the Victorian title holder, one of the most favoured cars. But battling out as though it's only a 10 lap sprint. Out in front we have John Brown and Jamie McHugh, pretty well side by side. Ron Pine still sitting there in 3rd. I think he's more content to let these 2 front runners battle it out, risk taking one another out. Then we go back to Tasmanian Darren Kane, sitting back there in 4th spot. Tucked in behind him is the Queenslander in the 21 car of Nick Girdlestone. Dave Gardner sitting there, making up good ground, puts up right alongside Girdlestone as they go through with some 31 laps on the board. Our leader now, John Brown. McHugh going with him, also Pine. These guys are about to start getting on the tail end of the field. First they will meet will be Terry Rickstein and Gary Bryans. About to meet them down in coming out of turn 4. They will start to work their way through the traffic. This will really determine, touch down the straight. 1-2 touching there, orange light comes on. As they started to come through the traffic there, it was John Brown, Jamie McHugh coming together. McHugh basically with nowhere to go, ran up against the board on the entrance into turn 1. Rode up the wall quite badly. Bad luck there for Jamie McHugh. He hasn't done a thing wrong all weekend, been top point scorer. Not looking good for him at this stage on the infield. The tyre looks a little bit worse for wear, but it is only the foam in a block from that tyre that's hanging out. Okay, 29 laps on the board. Racing once again. Brown gets a good start. Ron Pine going with him. Gardner around the outside. Pushes his way up. Up into 3rd now. Puts and another one into the fence. Cars going left and right. And I think that is the number 6 car of Peter Logue from Victoria. One of the hot favourites. Hit the wall very hard over on the exit of turn 2. Just waiting to see who else was involved there. I think it may be the 78 car of Tony Grinstead. Also wanting an inspection is Nick Girdlestone from Queensland. Stu, what's it look like over there?
The Logue, the front end of the car doesn't look too good. The Ambo's just in there just checking how Peter is. But bad luck for Peter Logue, one of the favourites here for this weekend. Also we've got Nick Girdlestone over here in the Queensland 21. I'll just see what's the boys just putting the 90-mile race out tape onto the bonnet of the car. He'll be back in there as soon as I get the tape on there. Also, Mick Nicola's pulled infield here at the moment. I'll just find out what the go is with him.
Tony Grinstead getting pushed away. Nick Girdlestone rolling once again also.
Yeah, and also just with Mick Nicola there, one of the guys just had to fix up his electronic visor there with these tear-offs on there. There must have been something wrong with them, so one of the guys here in the infield's just fixed that up.
On restarts, interrupt their flow. Lights are out. Okay, green flag in the air. Looks as though we're going to go racing once again. Brown out in front from Pine, Kane, Girdlestone and her own Dave Gardner, sorry. Baker tucked in behind him. All comes through. Ron Pine setting out an early challenge after the restart for the lead. Comes up alongside Brown as they go across the start-finish line. Kane also up there. Girdlestone, Gardner tucked in there in 5th spot. Kane back in 6th. Then go back to Kingsley Jones, Hicks, Girdlestone, and we've got Tangles, and Gardner is out. Big tangle down there on turn 4. That wheel rolling across the infield is out of the back of David Gardner's car. Also up against the fence, Kingsley Jones. And tangled up there, parked side by side, is Bill Miller, Terry Rickstein. Alan Baker 5, then go back to Higgs, Grinstead and Marshall. Green flag time, 27 laps to go. Ron Pine from New South Wales, one of the quiet achievers of the weekend so far, out in front. Then back to the 6-car early race leader of Brown. Darren Kane pushes in hard, trying to go in underneath. Nearly overcooks it. Girdlestone right on his hammer in position 4. Then we go back to Baker in the Falcon. Then we have, I think it's Hicks, Grinstead, Marshall, and Australia 1 plate holder Mick Nicola trying to work his way up through the field. 24 laps yet to go. Ron Pine clearing away from the field now. Then we go back to Brown, Kane, Girdlestone, Baker. Ron Pine in the 7-car looking very comfortable out there in front. '95 national champion, won that event at Clamillan. But I tell you what, the action in behind him. Kane now moving up into 2nd position, relegating Brown back. I think that tyre is about to give up the ghost. Girdlestone also going through, as does Baker. Mick Nicola starting to work his way up through the field now, has managed to get past Marshall, Grinstead and Hicks. Now puts a lap down on Brown, just manages to get out of the action, and we're stacking them again. We're stacking them again down in turn 2. Grinstead got balked slightly there in turn 2. Bogorski, Gavin McEachran, Terry Rickstein and Bill Miller left with pretty well nowhere to go. Let's hope there's not too much damage to those cars. The restart with 20 laps on the board. Ron Pine from Darren Kane, Nick Girdlestone, Alan Baker, Nick Nicola, Higgs, Grinstead, Marshall and McEachran. Ron Pine leans them down the back straight. Kane going with him nicely. Girdlestone pushes hard into 3. Baker runs up little high towards the Cush area through turn 4, still holding on that 4th spot. Nicola sitting right in underneath him in 5th. Then we go back to Higgs. Tony Grinstead, the ex-NASCAR pilot, sitting in behind Higgs, and bump and shuffle down the back there. Gavin McEachran with front end damage, trying to get down on the infield. He's sustained some damage there, trying to get down as the orange light comes on. Bad luck for Gavin McEachran. Right front, not looking too good at all. That was the corner that he damaged earlier in that incident over on turn 4. Crew worked feverishly after the last heat to get that car back on the track. Lights out. Nick Girdlestone from Queensland doing a fantastic job in this new cast in position 3 at the restart. Away they go once again. 18 laps left on the board. Time will lead them through. Kane sitting there in the Ford Thunderbird in second position from Girdlestone in the Pontiac. Then we go back to Alan Baker, the controversial man of the 2 nights racing so far on the Falcon. Then we've got Australia's defending title holder Nick Nicola tucked in behind him. Then we go back to Gary Higgs, Tony Grinstead, Ian Marshall, Bill Miller. Baker's got some problems over on the back straight. Telltale smoke from that car. Put a new engine in it only on Thursday night, so bad luck there for Baker. Race continues, 14 laps to go. Ron Pine still leading, but I tell you what, the action's starting to get right into it, out up in front. Darren Kane starts to wind up the 56 car, the big Ford Thunderbird. Working overtime on Pine. Gets the car set up very nicely. Starting to get up there and use the cush. Gets a good run down the back straight. Staying right with Pine. Girdlestone going with them also. And Australia's defending title holder, Nick Nicola, ever so slowly making his presence felt on the leaders. Now up into 4th spot. Gary Higgs in 5. Then we go Grinstead, Marshall, Miller and Bryant. 11 laps on the board. Pine gets a little bit of a break now on Kane. Girdlestone still there in 3rd. Then we go to Nicola. Nicola working really hard now, coming down, picking on the low line, trying to get around Girdlestone. He's sitting up there in that fast line up around on the cush. Nicola, all he can do is sit there and wait perhaps for him to slide up a little bit high and slip in underneath. 9 laps on the board now, or 8.5 to be raced out. Ron Pine looking the picture at the moment. Car set up very, very nicely. Out in front with perhaps a 30 or 40 metre break down to Darren Kane. 21, I think, has got some strife. That's Girdlestone. Nicola now moves up into 3rd spot, but he lost a lot of ground there getting around Girdlestone. Girdlestone right off the pace now. I think he's got some problems, internal problems in that car. Higgs gets up and past him also, coming up now, Grinstead and Marshall. Back to our leader, still Pine. Darren Kane having no real answer for him. Pine's a little out of shape coming out of 4, quickly gets it back on the line again. 5 laps on the board now. Pine coming up to put a lap on Byron. Girdlestone still circulating down on the low line, trying to get in a race finish in the Australian 99 Super Sedan title. Pine now gets around on the 26 car, gives a little bit of a touch in the way through for his troubles. Darren Kane, now it's his turn. Oh, a touch there in the 26, loses the front end off the car. We have debris on the racetrack. Nicola sitting there in 3rd. Interesting to see whether this will cause a race stoppage or not for safety reasons. Orange light still not on. Pine now coming up on the back of Bill Miller. Only a couple of laps left to go. Pine looking quite comfortable out there. All he's got to do is keep it cool. White flag going out now. 1 lap left to go. Darren Kane just turning to hold on to 2nd. Australia's reigning champion sitting there in 3rd, coming up alongside Kane. We've got a slow car in the road. Checkered flag goes out now to Ron Pine, the new Australian Super Sedan title holder. Just managing to hold on to 2nd is Darren Kane. 3rd will be Mick Nicola. 4th, I think, across the line will be Gary Higgs from Tony Grinstead, Ian Marshall, Gary Bryans and Bill Miller finishing also. Well, how's that for 40 laps of action? Couple of restarts, but cool man of the whole weekend, Ron Pine in the 7 car, kept working away through the heats, kept his nose clean, did very little damage to the car, if any. Come out in the final, let it all happen in front of him, and is he a happy man? Give him a hand out there, ladies and gentlemen. Very shortly, he will take the checkered flag on a lap, and please show your appreciation to Ron Pine from New South Wales, the new #1 Australia Super Sedan title holder. And he can do them. Yes! Give him a hand now as he comes through turn 1, turn 2, the crowd over there in the back straight. Put it together for him. Done such a great job out there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get on with the presentations for the ACF 1999 Australian Super Sedan title. I'll now ask on the president of the South East Racing Car Club, Kerry Jennings, to come forward. He's got a few words.
Thanks, Paul. I think this weekend has been a great success. Mainly due to our committee, my committee, and tireless effort from Mr. Bob Crow and Bill Barrows for putting down a magic track, and I think most of the drivers agree on that. And while I'm thanking people, I'd like to thank all the officials that officiated this weekend, especially the ASCF and delegates from South Australia and Victoria that's helped. And I'd like to also thank the sponsors for the night, the Mount Gambier City Council, as well as Trident Tyres. I'll now hand it back to Paul.
Okay, also like to welcome along to the presentations, who's been working tirelessly up there on the computer all weekend, Vice President of the Australian Saloon Car Federation, Alan Jones.
Thank you very much. I better not take the credit for working on the computer all weekend. That was the title coordinator, Kay Anwell. She done all the work collating the points, so I better not take the credit for that. But anyway, I'd like to thank Kerry and all his boys for putting on a great weekend for this title we've had here. I think they've gone out of their way to help everybody, and what they've done for the drivers and the officials, everybody else, is a credit to them. Well done, Kerry, and take it back to your people. On behalf of the ASF, what a great weekend you've put on. Without any further ado, we'll have the presentations from that great race. Before we do that, just commiserations to the guys that got crashed out. It was unfortunate. The first 10 laps was superb racing. If the race meeting had went along in the vein that the first 10 laps were, we would have had a great race on our hands. But these things always test us, I dare say, and we have to put up with what we have at the end. But without any further, 4th place from Western Australia, Gary Higgs. Well done, Gary. We'll just get a few words now from Gary, who's all the way from Western Australia. I'm sure he's got plenty to say. Congratulations.
Thanks very much. I don't know where to start. I think I'd start with thanking my pit crew. They brought the truck all the way over here. I'd like to thank my sponsors, Sontax Tools and Machinery. They're the ones that got me here, the support, the money and all that. I'd like to thank my wife for being behind me. All the other fellas in Western Australia that qualified, well done to them. Well done to Ron and the other blokes. And everybody else there, and thanks to Borderline Speedway, I've really enjoyed myself. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much, Gary. 3rd place goes to the defending champion for Victoria, Nick Nicola.
Well, once again, I have to really thank the pit crew, because we had a lot of bad luck in the heats, and they got me back into the feature, and otherwise I wouldn't have been there. We started 13th, and get back into 3rd was a pretty good run. I'd like to thank my sponsors Lucas Oil and Repco from Traralgon. He's helped us out, and Trevor from the go-kart track today helped us out last time we were here, so thanks to him too. And thanks for the other drivers. It was a great race.
Thanks, Nick. Tasmania, raced well all weekend. Done a great job here tonight to keep himself out of trouble. Darren Kane.
Thanks very much. I just can't believe it. This is the first time we've ever been in this place, and to finish up like this is just fantastic. A lot of people got to thank, especially Thorpe's Transport. They got me over here. Cost me nothing for the trip. Dad for building the engine. We just didn't quite have enough revs on board. All my sponsors, Coupe de Ville, Joe's Garage, everybody on the car, all the blokes that helped me out this weekend, Tommy, Brett, Troy, Shane, Sportelli, Brendan, and the rest of Tasmania. And I just hope I haven't missed anyone, but thanks very much. Oh, I better thank my girlfriend Sonia. Thank you.
And the happy chappy who won it seems out of his tree at the moment, Ron Pine, all the way from New South Wales.
First off, I'd like to thank the crowd for coming, and I really hope we put a good show on, because Super Sedan racing is probably one of the oldest of all the groups, and I've been in it some 27 years, and I've been blessed to win an Australian title before. However, this one is a lot sweeter for me, because in Perth when I won it in '95, I didn't have a presentation as such until 3 o'clock in the morning, because some officials thought that there was a few abnormalities to do with rim sizes, and at the end of the day, when they'd done their checks, which they're entitled to do, we came out quite clean, but it robbed me of the best part of the race, the trophies and the presentation and the crowd. So I'm really enjoying this, so bear with me. First of all, I'd like to thank Bob Crow, the grader driver, and his crew, because without them doing that little bit of magic before we come out, I think it may have been a little different, I don't know, but I'd like to thank them. I'd like to thank the people of the Speedway here for putting it on. And putting the money up for these sort of shows, because there's a lot of money involved in it, and if the people on the hill don't come, they don't want to put the money up, so I can't come back if there's no money. That's how it works, I'm sorry. I'd like to thank the rest of the competitors. I'd like to congratulate the second and the third place getter. I'd really, really, really like to thank my family, because with Speedway in any facet, they give a lot away. I'm never at home. I do not spend much time at work when we're racing. I'd like to thank my wife personally and my family, and it's a shame they're not here to enjoy it, but if I'm here, I can't have all the family here, and that's how it works with all the families, I'm afraid. Most of us anyway. I'd like to thank Rick Slatter from Tasmania. Without his help fine-tuning my car, special thanks, Rick. Thanks, mate. You know where it stands, and I appreciate it. The guys' workshop today, he's standing over there. I mean, the people know who they thank. You know, I mean, they know who I want to thank. I'd really, really like to thank my crew. I appreciate it. There's 4 or 5 guys here and a couple of casuals, and without them, we wouldn't be here. Is there anybody else I forgot? I really, you know, I'm a pain in the butt, but thanks very much to everybody, the press, and I hope you write really good things about Super Sedan racing Australia-wide. By the way, I won at Parramatta 3 weeks ago, and it hasn't been written. The press let me down. I broke the track record from the rear of the field and took 7 seconds off it, so everybody knows about it now. Thank you very much.
Glad about that, Ron. Good boy. No. Just before we finish with the presentations, as you know, there's a perpetual trophy which has been donated by the Blunden family. I'd like to call on a member of the Blunden family, whether it be Chris or Bill, to make that presentation, please. We have Chris here. I think everybody around South Australia remembers Chris as a great competitor in this class over the years.
I'd like to thank everybody that's come along tonight. It's been a great event. Congratulations to Ron and all the other competitors. I know Mick would have loved to have been up there, but that's the way it goes. national titles are always very hard, very tough, and I mean, even the qualifiers is really a major event in itself. So congratulations to everybody. Thanks for coming along, and congratulations to the Borderline Speedway for putting on a great event. Thank you.
Thanks very much for your support over the years. These perpetual trophies mean a lot more to a lot of people, and we often don't realise what they do mean. And I'd personally like to thank you very much for your involvement, and I'll cherish this for 12 months. I really don't know whether I'll get to defend it. I'm in a situation with my family. My son races quite heavily, and I think a lot of people already know that. But what I'd like to thank of all, Shell Helix Australia. Shell give me a lot of financial support, and if you want it to run, get into Auto 1.
Thanks very much, Ron. That's about the end of the formalities. So, and once again, I'd just like to thank the Mount Gambier Club, Borderline, for putting on a great weekend for the Super Sedan title on behalf of the ASF. Thank you very much.
Didn't quite have the points on the board running into the final, the consolation. No doubt they'll run just as hard. Randall will bring them around. Keen on his outside. Steve Reddycliffe sitting there, Scott 3, now moves up into second. Pushing and shoving going on. Noel Rookstein being knocked around like a tennis ball at Kooyong. Now back to 4 spot. Randall settles down quite nicely. And I tell you what, he's breaking right away in this early stage. Then we go back to Reddycliffe, Keane, and Randall, Rockstein, Cowland, West, then Weaver and Reddycliffe tailing out the field. Wayne Randall in the 76 car. Randall looking quite comfortable. Lifting that inside rear, getting plenty of traction down on that right front. Getting it hooking up very nicely. 37 car, sitting there in second, gets a bit of a breakaway. Mark Weaver, Keane, sorry. Keane back to Steve Reddycliffe. 37 sitting right in behind him, that's Mark Weaver. Weaver down on the low line, Reddycliffe up on the cush. Noel Reichstein pushing hard, tucked in behind those fellows. 8 laps left on the board. Randall doing it quite comfortably. Wayne Randall from South Australia. Picking that inside front up off the deck. Doing the weight transfer as he sets it up in the cush. Rockets down the back straight, coming up now to the tail of Debbie Reddycliffe to put a lap on her. Andrew Keane in the Pontiac still there in second. Mark Weaver also in a Pontiac back there in third. Race leader now, just having a little bit of trouble getting past Reddycliffe. Goes down on the low line through turn 1 with some 5 laps left on the board. Gets past her. Keane getting even more pressure applied by the 37 car of Weaver. Weaver right on his tail now. Weaver sitting up on the cush there through turn 1. Then goes for a change of lines down low. Didn't really achieve any advantage. Steve Reddycliffe still holding out Noel Rookstein and Cowland. Then we go back to West and the 31 car of Briscoe. Once again, second and third place now coming up onto Debbie Reddycliffe to put a lap. She's gone up high. Guys looking for a way through. Goes through. White flag out now. 76 car with Western 1 lap to go to take out the consolation race after the running of the 1999 Super Sedan title. Wayne Randall takes the checkered flag. The battle going on for second. Keane Going over for second. Then the 37 car for third of Mark Weaver. Then we'll go back to Steve Reddy, Cliff, Noel Reichstein and Callan. We look up at the race time just for the last race of this 2 nights of racing. Race record time down from 3:58.56 to a 3:41.7.
Congratulations to Mick Nicola. Nick, so close to taking out what you wanted, that back-to-back title, but hey, third place, that's not all bad.
Yeah, it's not all bad from 13th spot, but yeah, we had a bit of bad luck in the heat races. We had to start in the top 6, we would have been a good chance of winning it.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a great drive up front there by Ron Pine. Like you said, a little bit of luck involved, managed to stay out of trouble. There was a little bit of carnage out there in the final. You done well to avoid it.
Yeah, there's a lot of carnage. I don't know exactly what happened, but I got around them and that was the main thing. But yeah, oh well, there's next year again.
Well, congratulations on your third placing. That was a really good effort.
Yeah, thank you.
Darren, congratulations. Second position in the Australian titles. You've come all the way over from Tassie to do this. How do you feel?
Oh, I'm pretty ecstatic at the moment. You know, like it's the first time I've ever been to the place, and it's a little bit different than home. But we give it our best shot, and towards the end I thought it was going to win it, but the car went off a little bit and just lost a little bit of side bite. But I'm just wrapped to come second. I've done the best I could.
Yeah, and that's it. It's about all you can do. The Firebird went really well for you. Sounds like the crew's pretty enthusiastic about it all. I mean, it was a great, tough race out there. A few incidents. You've done well to steer clear of them all and just stay out of trouble.
Yeah, I thought it was so important the first part of the race to get up a couple of positions to stay away from the mid-pack section where I knew that they'd be so desperate to get through. And we got through okay, and I could sort of dictate my pace for the race, and didn't quite work out how I wanted to, but I tried.
Did you know that you had Mick Nicola breathing down your back right there near the end of the race?
I had a fair idea, you know, like because the car went off a little bit towards the end and 2 laps to go, we tangled with a lap car. You know, it was his fault, but it was an accident, and it pulled the front wheel out of alignment and the car wouldn't turn in. So the last 2 laps I was really fighting it, and I was just glad to get home second.
Good thing there was only 2 laps left. You did a great job to bring it home second. Ron Pine, he had a great drive, probably deserved the win, but hey, you did a terrific job just to bring it in behind him.
Yeah, he done really good. He was really smooth, and just had a few more revs off the corner than us, and but he won, so that's all that matters.
Well, congratulations on your second, and have a good trip home.
Thanks very much.
Well, Ron Pine, congratulations. You've done it now, dude. Taken out number 1 in Australia. How does it feel?
It feels better than the first time. This is my second time, so it feels really good. Really good.
Really good. And you obviously enjoyed being able to get up there. Like you said, in your previous win, you weren't able to sort of appreciate the crowd, thank everybody you wanted to. This time you got the opportunity to do so.
Yes, and that's part of winning. And when that's stolen from you through circumstances that are not yours, it lets a little bit to be desired, but people have their jobs to do, and I won't dwell on that. I'm just happy to win, and I think the crowd won. I think we put a good race on. I did anyway, and you know, it's all a package, the crew, the car. I mean, we blew the truck up on the way over, and 15 kilometres from home, and we've worked out of a box trailer, so we've worked out of pretty awful situation. Normally I've got a 60-foot truck with all my equipment, and I got nothing. I got a box trailer and 5 guys, so they've done good.
No, it sounds like you did extremely well. I mean, gee, losing your truck 15 k's from home, you nearly want to stay there.
Well, I don't want to go home because it's $20,000 to rebuild an engine, but that's part of it, and if you're not committed, you give up early, but if I'd have given up, I wouldn't have won, so it's all about not giving up.
That's it exactly. Hey, that's a great comment. 40 laps, just briefly, take us through the race, exactly how you managed to stay out of trouble in the first place.
Well, it's all about staying out of trouble, and from the right moment we arrived, we chose to stay out of trouble. I knew I had the package. I was quite happy just to watch what was going on in front of me in the start of that race. Jamie McHugh was very fast, and John Brown was very fast. They were coming together a few times, so I was privileged to watch what was going on, and position 3 is always a better position than off the front row, and I was quite happy to start out of 3. When I moved up behind them just before the crash that took McHugh out, I knew I had the package. Then and there, I knew I was going to win. So it was a matter of attrition, which one got rid of which one, and that's how it happened. It was a racing incident. Both went to one line, but they come together. Jamie dropped out, and well, I took 2 laps and rounded John Brown up and drove away, and the rest history, isn't it?
That it is, and congratulations. It's very well deserved.
Thank you very much.